Rube Goldberg was an American inventor, author, sculptor, and cartoonist. He was born in the late 1800s and survived until 1970. He is best known for his complicated drawings of very convoluted, complex machines designed to do very simple tasks, such as operating a napkin or striking a match. And his drawings were also the inspiration behind one of the most enduring three-dimensional board games the world has ever known, a family favorite we know as Mousetrap, which was released in 1963 and is still a family favorite to this day. On this episode of the Dandy Funhouse, I'm going to unbox this new edition of Mousetrap, going to set it up, give you some of the back history about it, and also we're going to put it into action. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's step into the funhouse.
Where am I?
You just entered the Dandy Funhouse.
Hello and welcome to the Dandy Funhouse, the home of your favorite frivolities. I'm your host, Neil Dandy, and today we're going to unbox, set up, go over the objectives, and put into action this game of Mousetrap. It claims that it now has an easier setup. Easier setup, there we go. And I'm also going to tell you some of the interesting history about it while we go. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's unbox this thing and see what we got. Alright, so here's the box itself. Mousetrap, the classic action and chain reaction game. Easier setup than previous versions. Get the cheese, kick the boot, send the ball right down the chute, make the man jump into the tub. What do you know, rub-a-dub. Let's open up the box. First, let's check out the back of the box. So, let's see the sides here. There, and same on both sides. And what's the back look like? The back just shows an action shot of what it all looks like. And there you go. Shows kids having a great time with it. Number one, scurry around the board, but watch out for the trap. Set off the chain reaction trap to catch other mice. Collect 6 cheese wedges first to win. So I guess you gotta collect cheese wedges, but also trap the other people. Now, see, open it up here. I have already cut the tape because I didn't want you to see me struggling with that. There's no sense in that. See, is there anything else in here? The board itself, the box. All right, that appears to be everything in the box. I'll seal up the box here. So, Rube Goldberg, as I was mentioning earlier, American inventor, author, sculptor, and cartoonist. And his complicated machines were largely the inspiration for this. Well, they were the inspiration when this was released in 1963 by Marvin Glass and Associates. Marvin Glass and Associates full out admitted that Rube Goldberg was the inspiration. But they didn't pay the man a penny, which is a crying shame, and a lot of people decry that to this day. And Rube Goldberg, I think he protested a little bit, but he didn't ultimately go after them in court or anything, because he knew he did not have a winning case. Because apparently ideas are not copyrightable, or at least they weren't back in the day. So we got a big piece of plastic here. This looks like the base for a lot of things. It's probably, oh, I see, it gives you outlines here and just snap them in like so. Now, a lot of people like to make hay about how Marvin Glass and Associates supposedly ripped off Rube Goldberg. But, I mean, all they really did is they drew inspiration from his drawings. And that is not illegal. Although some more recent court cases might argue some of that. But Rube did eventually strike a deal with the Modern Toy Company for licensing, and they did end up protecting many of his remaining drawings that he had out there that they felt they could add protections to. I'm having a booger of a time getting this thing to snap into place. Easier setup. All right, trying to explain this and put it together at the same time, that is a challenge. And any show hosts that are able to do this kind of stuff smoothly, well, my hat is off to you. Today I'm wearing my Little Debbie hat because as of this month, Little Debbie Snack Cakes is not officially sponsoring the Dandy Funhouse. Okay, well, I cannot get this thing to go in to save my doggone life. Easier setup. So the object of this game is to collect 6 pieces of cheese while keeping your opponents from collecting cheese and also stealing cheese from your opponents. There is no mention of cutting of cheese. Now, looking at the board, as you go through the board, it's supposed to tell you how to erect the thing, but I don't think that's how you do it anymore. I think in past versions, it sort of gave you instructions as you went and you build it as you go. But I think in this version, the more modern version, I believe you put it all together first. And then you start to play and then trap people. So I have to figure out how to put this thing together. That's where he gets trapped. See how this thing works. Reach across here, snap the stop sign, and watch this thing in action. It didn't really work as I expected it to. This thing is just not kicking the bucket the way it's supposed to. I am not sure what I'm doing wrong here. So, I've got to tell you, my initial thoughts on this are I'm kind of disappointed on how it works. It doesn't really explain it clearly. It's convoluted. I don't really understand how kids are going to put this thing together and play with it. The instructions are very difficult. It doesn't work right, and I don't understand how or why. And it's really difficult to move the cage back up. I mean, really, are you supposed to be doing all this stuff while you're trying to play a game? This is unbelievably ridiculous. And then it falls down easy, but it's almost impossible to set back up. The board is almost impossible to put together. Honestly, I think any kid you try to give this to play with, to harken back to the old days when take a trip down memory lane, I believe you're going to have an exercise in frustration here. Easier setup. Alright folks, so there you have it. The game of Mousetrap in the year 2022. I gotta tell you, I could not have possibly been more disappointed. I can't imagine giving this game to a kid, trying to get them to set the thing up and make it work. If it was this difficult for me, I can't imagine what a 6 or 7-year-old kid is going to do with this. I mean, I couldn't even get the thing to work properly. It's almost impossible to assemble, and even more impossible to get to work. I'm sorry, guys, but I've got to give this thing a thumbs down, guys. Go find something else to do with your time. Like visiting the Dandy Funhouse website at dandyfunhouse.com, where you can check out past episodes, especially the last one where I get to dress like Alfred E. Newman and I give you the history and backstory of Mad Magazine and where it's come from and where it is today. And if you like these episodes and like to contribute to the production of future episodes, please consider visiting our patronage page over there at thedandyfunhouse.com. Not thedandyfunhouse.com, just dandyfunhouse.com. And we'd sure appreciate that. Supporters get access to exclusive bonus material, and super supporters get special prizes mailed to them if they provide us with their mailing address. All right, guys, I've had enough of this. I'm ready to get on with my day. And you know, the game of Mousetrap, it's nice in theory, but at the end of the day, this thing just doesn't work. This is an absolute piece of junk, and I would say don't buy it. Here's what I think of it. Come back and see us soon at the Dandy Funhouse, where everything is always fun and dandy. Mousetrap.